Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday morning, and it is indeed a beautiful day in Washington, D.C., and it's also a fantastic day at the District Department of Buildings. Give yourselves a big round of applause. I want to begin by thanking each of you for your incredible work over the past 9 months, where we have transitioned, or I should say you have done the tough work of transitioning from the Department of Consumer and Regulatory Affairs to two new agencies, the Department of Licensing and Consumer Protection. Let's give DLCP a big round of applause. And the Department of Buildings. Woo! Two agencies without which the District of Columbia simply could not function. All right? And I want to thank you all for the hard work that you have to do when you tell people they have to have a permit and it has to cost some money, and then you have to go out and inspect, and then you have to tell them they have to fix something. And then you have to tell them they need a license, but, you know, they should have gotten it a year ago. You have to do all of those things, right? And those are the things that help the district go around. But also the revenue that you help generate by keeping our buildings and our built environment safe helps us invest in schools. We need good schools, right? Great transportation and safe communities. So we simply can't have one without the other and the hard work that you do. So I want to start with a goodbye, and a bittersweet one at that, but also a celebration of a great career in D.C. government. So please join me in thanking Director Ernest Chopra. Give him a big round of applause. Director Chopra announced last month that he's leaving D.C. government after 15 years of service. And it turns out I have appointed Director Chopra 4 times to executive posts in my administration. And each time he served with distinction. First, he served as the chairman of the D.C. Taxi Commission at the beginning of my administration. He then served as director of the Department of in the Department of Motor Vehicles. Hold on, I have that wrong. For hire motor vehicles in 2018, and as the director of DCRA from 2018 to 2022, and now as the director of the new Department of Buildings. Ernest, of course, has served in technology roles. He even served the children of CFSA prior to my administration. And I am just so grateful for his leadership and wish him all the best in future endeavors. I have a small token of our appreciation for Ernest that I wanted to present this morning. And it says, thank you for your dedication, leadership, and service to the residents of D.C. As the chairman of the D.C. Taxi Cab Commission, the Department of for Hire Vehicles, Consumer and Regulatory Affairs, and the Department of Buildings. Congratulations, Ernest.
Thank you.
You have the first ever bowl like this.
It's so cute.
Very good. You want to say a few words?
Good morning, everyone. First of all, Mayor Bowser, thank you so much for the opportunities to play a significant role in the district's transformation. I also want to give a nod to prior mayors that I served under. But really, I also want to thank Deputy Mayor Lucinda Bay-Bears and my staff for all the work that I've been able to do. It wasn't a one-man show. I have been given an opportunity to help change lives. And with the incredible people who I've worked with, I've been able to do so. So while I head off into what will be, I don't exactly know, I want to share this last moment with you all and also share that it is okay not to have solutions to every problem. It is okay not to know exactly what you want to do in your career. And it's also okay to work in the district government because that platform provides you an opportunity to grow personally, professionally, and to do incredible work. So on that note, thank you so much. And I'm going to hand the mic over to Mayor Bowser.
And Ernest has been a steadfast supporter in making sure that we hand off a great agency to another great director. And he said, Mayor, please make an appointment because I want to be a part of the transition. So it's with great pleasure that I welcome another great executive back to the district government as I appoint Brian Hanlon to be the next director of the Department of Buildings. Join me here, Brian. Director Hanlon is an accomplished administrator, leader, and registered architect with more than, I'm going to say some nice things about you for a minute, with more than 35 years of private and public sector experience. He returns to the district government having worked at several agencies, including as the executive program manager at the Department of Real Estate from 2018 to 2010. And Director Hanlon was then appointed as the first director of the Department of General Services from 2010 to 2015. In the private sector, Director Hanlon practiced architecture, managed large budgets, and served in several leadership roles, focusing on construction management and building technologies. And all that is to say that I believe he has the right, perfect skill set for our time to lead the Department of Building. So with that, help me congratulate Brian Hanlon.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. What a pleasure. What a pleasure. I want to thank Mayor Bowser for entrusting me with this challenge and asking me to be a part of her team to help with DC's comeback and the continued transformation of DC and all of its communities. The Department of Buildings plays a special role in ensuring that the built environment, the places and spaces in which we work, live, learn, and play are safe, lasting, and ultimately sustainable. I want to thank outgoing Director Chopra and the team at DOB for the leadership and dedication and for welcoming me as a member of this team. It's evident that there's amazing things already underway, and I'm the beneficiary of an enormous amount of great hard work and dedication. I want to pledge to the mayor and the team at DOB and my fellow Washingtonians that I'll give my very best to continue to make our city, our beloved DC, a thriving and vibrant city. I want to thank Chairman Mendelson and the Council for their input and the cooperation as we strive together to continue to make DOB a positive force for our city, its citizens, and the business community. I'm a native Washingtonian, go back a couple generations. I'm born and raised here. This is my second opportunity to serve our city. To be able to do so for Mayor Bowser in her historic third term is indeed for me a blessing. Thank you.
Okay, so with that, I think I get to answer some press questions, and I'm looking forward to it. And then we'll have some time to mingle and talk to everybody. And I know that we're still working as customers come in, so I'm looking forward to getting to say hi to as many people as possible. Okay, any questions?
Mayor Bowser, Ted Oberg from News 4. Director Hanlon, congratulations on your appointment. But as you talk about safe places and spaces, one of the things on the Department of Buildings agenda is vacant and blighted buildings, a persistent problem in the district. But I'm curious, Director Hanlon and Mayor Bowser, what is your pledge to the people of DC to get rid of some of these buildings, to turn them back into usable homes? And secondly, your budget this year cuts 2 inspectors for that. What would the effect of that be on this program?
I think to suggest that vacant and blighted buildings are a problem specific to the district is quite wrong. And I have a long history of working on vacant and blighted property in the district. In fact, when I was a member of the council, I wrote the law that created the current regime that we have, where we actually have a tool in our toolbox to move properties from vacancy and blight to productive use. So we want to continue to do that. But we know one other tool that we need is to make sure that we invest in turning those properties into homes. And we're very focused on that. So in a $20 billion budget, I don't know that I can talk in particular about two positions today, especially since we looked across every agency to make the necessary vacancy cuts to balance the budget. But we are calling on all of our agencies to work efficiently on their mission. Yeah.
I have a question for the new director.
Sure.
In regard, Delia Gonzalez from Channel 9.
Brian?
In regards to bad actors and developers that we've investigated, and I know that the former administration has banned from doing business in the city. Todd Ragamuff was one developer, and for instance. However, we know that a lot of them operate under numerous LLCs. What is your plan to crack down on these bad actors and prevent them from moving from one project to the next?
Well, thank you. This is day one for me, and so you know, I'm going to be. I will be doing a lot of absorbing of this information over time. But I'd say in general, you know, one thing is, you know, I'm a firm believer in communication, in clear communication, and collaborating with the business community. And as we continue to scour, if there are indeed bad actors out there, we're going to work with them in one way or another to make sure that we keep things, you know, safe and viable, so that our city can continue its comeback.
So we're talking about the Department of Buildings here. There's the other half of what used to be DCRA, the DLCP. Where are you in the search for a permanent permanent director for that side of the operation?
Ongoing, and I want to thank Shirley for her incredible leadership of DLCP. Let's hear it for Shirley. Thank you for Shirley, of course, has great experience as the assistant director for then DCRA, and she answered the call for leadership, and we continue with all of our executive recruitment.
Quick
Yeah.
follow-up on that note. DC law requires that after 6 months, an interim agency director can't be paid anymore. I think it's been more than 6 months since she's been in the position. I'm just curious, is she being paid?
Of course.
So, despite DC law?
Martin, she's being paid. And if anybody has a question about how I pay my assistant director, they should see me directly. Yep. Yep.
Mine's off topic.
Sure.
This was one of those other weekends where we had a number of shootings. I guess a child as young as 11 years old in this case. What about, you're having a summit soon or something? What are some of the things that may come up in this thing to deal with these problems?
Well, I think that we as a nation have to deal with the epidemic of gun violence that we're seeing. I think we are all, I don't know if we're shocked anymore that somebody walked into a shopping mall and killed 8 people, including a child. And I continue to be shocked when I get a report from the police that 12-year-olds are involved in shootouts in our city at each other. So we know that we have to get to guns, and we have to get to families who are in crisis, and that's part of it. But we also have to stop thinking that if we have a 12-year-old with a gun, that the best place for them is to go back home in that environment, in some environments. I am saying that if a 12-year-old is at home where they're allowed to use a gun or be in there, that may be worse than incarceration. Because, you know, if I have them at New Beginnings, which, let's face it, we have a juvenile justice system here that is not jail. It's not the adult system. It is an opportunity for us to sit some kids down and get them the services that they need. So yeah, I'm happy to talk about that. What else? Yes.
Another off-topic question
Okay.
about migrants migrants are searching and struggling for housing. There isn't enough room in the shelters for them. Do you have a plan to house the migrants who are here and potentially the more that are coming in the weeks to come?
We do not have unlimited space for DC residents or from people who are seeking asylum from other countries. We do not. This is a national problem that is going to require a national solution, but it is not in the district. We do not have unlimited space. That is true.
So what happens to those families?
I think a number of families are going to be going to destinations onward or in other places as they have been for the last year.
We have been hearing from advocates that there are families here now who are choosing to stay here who don't have a place to stay.
A lot of those advocates have invited people to come to stay with them. And we're telling those advocates as well, we have limited space. And we've hit those numbers in the last week for limitations in the district. So we have also informed the advocate network that they shouldn't be communicating to Texas or anywhere else that there's unlimited space here, because it's just not the case. Yes.
Mayor, two off-topic questions. One, by my count, today is 60 days since your attorneys began the investigation into your former deputy mayor, and at that time they told us 60 days was the required deadline for their report. Can you update us on the status of that investigation?
Yes, the MOC informed me on Friday that they had some more work to do, that they thought they were wrapping up, but didn't give me a specific time when they would be finished, but thought that they were wrapping up.
Can you tell us if any more allegations or victims have come forward other than the two that have been made public?
I can refer you to the MOC for any questions about the investigation
They don't
or the
respond- They
timeline.
don't respond to any press inquiries over the past 2 weeks, as far as I can tell from any of the reporters in this room.
Oh, well, I'll ping them to make sure that they respond to your
I
question.
appreciate that. And my second topic would be the homeless count that was kind of let out on Friday late in the afternoon. Can you tell us what you make of? I mean, these are really different numbers. These numbers, it's the first time I believe in years you've had this kind of an increase, and have double-digit increase in both family and individual homelessness. What do you make of that? And what does it say about, you've thrown so much effort and money at vouchers and family shelters and whatnot, to have these kind of numbers, this kind of a setback after years of progress?
Well, what it tells us, and I don't want to get too deep into it, Mark. I want to have a more thoughtful conversation about it. But one thing we have been concerned about, especially in our single system, as Delia has just asked me a couple questions. We've had a somewhat of a change in our population of people seeking homeless services.
So are you saying that the people who are coming on the migrant buses are the reason for the increase in homelessness?
As I said, I don't want to go too deep into it, but this is one observation that I have about the single system. So I'm happy to set up a time where we can have a more thoughtful conversation.
Can I just ask a question in general in regards to the future of DOB as we're beginning to build out the city, trying to encourage more residents, including residents, to move into downtown?
Yes, 15,000 in the downtown, 30,000 overall.
How do we collaborate and make sure this that we don't have these bad actors who are coming in taking advantage, and that folks are living in safe and secure homes? I know the women on Talbot Street, they've been made whole somewhat, but their home, the condos, have yet to be secured or condemned, and it's at risk of falling in that area of Southeast. So how are we preventing, bad buildings from moving forward if we're trying to build quickly?
Well, we're not trying to build quickly. We're trying to build safely. And our regime in the district has always been focused on safety. Now, it is true that we have had times where we've had a lot of interest, great demand, a lot of building. You've heard the number of cranes that we've heard seen go up across our city. So this agency hasn't always had the resources or inspectors that it needed to keep up with that great demand. So it is always important that we're looking to make sure that the agency is resourced properly, but that also technology and training and the human resources keep up with our demand. Now, what we know, there are always going to be lawbreakers and scofflaws, and the vast majority of the people who come to do business in the district, they do what they're told. But we want to make it easy to do business here. That's why we've created a business portal to make starting a business in the district easier, to make it easier for people to keep up with their fees and the things that they owe to the district, but also the designers, especially folks who are working on small and mid-sized project and the design professionals who work with them. We want them to know how to submit their designs and do it quickly and communicate with the people who are paying them, our residents. But we also want our residents to beware and to be on the lookout for people who aren't doing business correctly, to not take shortcuts, to make sure that your projects are permitted and that you're working with licensed individuals. Yes.
Mayor, yes. We covered a story last week about a 42-year-old man who died of a heart attack, and his family was on hold with the Office of Unified Communications for 3 minutes and 2.5, 3 minutes, respectively. What are your concerns about people being on hold with the 911 call center? And does the 911 call center have enough employees, particularly in the middle of the night where calls are coming in?
You asked me a specific question. I don't have the specifics on that, so I'd like to get back to you. Anything else?
Yeah, Mr. Hanlon, I just had a question about the role that you might play in fulfilling the mayor's vision on converting some downtown office or commercial buildings to residential buildings. As an architect, any challenges you foresee and how you plan to address those challenges?
Well, let me first just say I love the plan, and to me, I think it leads towards a great future for DC, an incredibly vibrant downtown with people living downtown. And just to think as a person who grew up here, the transformation that will occur is, I think, amazing. As an architect, you take an office building which wasn't designed to be residential. There are clearly architectural challenges. Those lead to economic challenges that need to get figured out. And I'm looking forward to collaborating with the design and construction community to figure out how to do that in a way that makes sense and allows the plan to unfold.
If I could follow up on that, sir, what is the plan to incentivize conversions in the wards outside of downtown?
Day one. I'll have to get back to you on that. Yep, great, thank you.
We're adding people to our downtown. We're adding people to our downtown. We're adding people to our downtown. And that's where we need incentives. And because we have a downtown that's 90% commercial. That's not the case in any other ward in the District of Columbia. So the district's participation is needed in the downtown. In the other wards, also to Delia's other point, there's a lot of activity already. And so we want to make sure that those conversions, that people are getting the best that they can out of the renovations that they're doing. If they're adding an ADU, which we encourage and is quite an underutilized ability in the district to add more space, or to legalize the space that you're already using as a ADU. So we can continue to focus on that. This budget does continue to make investments in all 8 wards. In fact, we've called on the council to reverse some of the cuts that they've made that affect great streets in all 8 wards by $3 million. As well as our food access grant, they've cut by $10 million, which allows us to make investments in all 8 wards. What a lot of people in the wards outside of the downtown want is they want commercial development. They're not saying, Bowser, will you help us? In some cases, they're saying create more housing, especially affordable housing. But they also want grocery, and they want in the neighborhood destinations for retail. So we will continue to do that work. So I invite you to continue to follow the work of DOB and our DLCP, I'll get the acronym right soon, DLCP, and all of the work that they do, and with all of our great employees here at both agencies. Thank you very much.